going to choose one, I would just say, because Ryan Newman was kind of like, oh, look at him. Don't forget about Ryan Newman. But the one I'm picking, real dark horse, so I'm going to pick that 34 car, Michael McDowell. He always finds his way out at the end. He's there. He's always there at the end for play races. I think Michael McDowell is going to be a dark.
No, they come down to block. Logano goes back up. Keselowski with him. McDowell in tow. Dillon on the bottom.
The run's on top. Oh! Teammates.
Around they go in a hard crash. Kyle Busch.
Kyle Larson.
Caution is out.
Bubba Wallace is in this. Austin Cindric. Hard hit by Kyle Busch. Caution's out.
McDowell is first to the line, but
one to go.
Showtime at Daytona now. All the marbles on the table.
Brad's got the 34 clear up top with him. Logano backing up the top.
Here goes the 3 car.
Inside, you got Ilford to 9. Get up on that 3.
Keselowski trying to make the move on Logano. Logano throws the block. Logano leads down the back straightaway.
34 is going to push on heel. Hold her straight.
The run's on top. Oh! Teammates.
Horrific crash on the final lap of the Daytona 500.
For a huge pile up on the final lap of the Daytona 500. Everybody has climbed from their cars.
Direct me for the win. Jonathan.
Who was the race leader when the caution flag came out?
Who won? Did we win it? It's going to be close.
At the moment of caution, McDowell is out in front of Chase Elliott. Michael McDowell has won the Daytona 500.
Woo! Thank you! Wow!
All right, Michael McDowell wins his first career race, Daytona 500. How about that?
After a wonderful call from you, couldn't ask for much better, especially that race. It was quite a delightful one.
Yeah, I had to do a little bragging, so I had to pull out the clips, the receipts, the hot takes, the out of nowhere dark horse.
By all means, you deserve this one.
We give myself a nice pat on the back here. I know I didn't choose like the winner with I didn't have big enough onions, but I had small little onions and they paid off. So, but welcome back to the Racing Bros NASCAR podcast, episode 3. We are here with my co-host Brian. Say hello.
Hello. How's it going, everybody?
And we're gonna be talking about this 500. One to maybe forget, one to maybe remember. It's wild, wacky train racing for 140 laps, and then the wild finish. So let's begin with the, opening. Opening 15 laps, usual with this package. And then we had the big one.
Yep.
It seemed Christopher Bell got a push from Kyle, and he had a run onto Eric Almirola. He hit Almirola slightly to the right, kind of knocked into him. Pretty aggressive push for lap 15 of a 200 race. And Almirola immediately got shot right into the 48 car, Alex Bowman, and just took out about 20 cars.
And if you ask me, something like that I didn't think would happen that early. But, I mean, you know what? It's racing. Stuff like that happens.
Yeah, I would expect that like in stage 3, but I was just a rookie mistake. I would think he shouldn't have shoved down Almirola that hard and just caused a whole lot of good cars to get out. The 48, the 10, Newman, Eric Jones, Suarez, Blaney. Who else got torn up?
Reagan.
David Reagan. Yeah, it was.
Buscher. It was a whole list of people. I think there were 16 cars in total.
Yeah.
That were just torn apart.
Just huge wreck, unnecessary for lap 15. But it's Daytona. You never know what happens.
And then the worst thing that could possibly happen after that lap was the rain delay.
Oh, the 5.5 hour.
5.5 hour rain delay. Yep. It was insane.
I didn't think they would do the race that late. I was like, I was preparing for a Monday,
Right.
and then like I was doing some streaming, and then Brian actually let me know that the race is coming on. So I'm like, oh, gotta go watch the race now, and they got the whole thing in. Just nighttime at Daytona is just so cool. I just love it.
Everything under the lights. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yeah, but then the dreaded train. So they freight trained for 140 laps.
Yeah.
Pretty much until one lap to go. They would race for the end of the stage. They were just like, ooh, look at me, get them stage points. And then last lap, just fucking everything went crazy.
Yep.
I guess McDowell was there at the end. I mean, you heard the call. He was right there behind Keselowski, and Keselowski made a move inside Logano, and then Logano went to block, and it's just kind of 50-50 call whenever it's a bad block or he shouldn't have blocked or did nothing. But then if he does nothing, he doesn't win. But then if he blocks, then he gets crashed. So, he's really in a no-win situation. Looks like Keselowski got a little squirrely before he gets into Logano. I think that's from the McDowell push. But McDowell was getting shoved by Chase. That's how he got a huge run on the back. So he gets a huge run off the back into Keselowski. And then Keselowski dives down low in 3 and 4. But he gets too squirrely and hits his left rear. Logano goes down on the apron into the grass, and Keselowski goes head on into the wall. And McDowell emerges through. He's like Moses, like Jesus. The Red Sea parted. Isn't that Jesus? Is that Moses or Jesus? I forget.
It's not Jesus.
Okay, it's Moses.
Yeah.
I had it right first. Okay, we're just gonna go with Moses. And then he emerged, and he was first when the time of caution. And I did not have that on my bingo card. I know I called him as a dark horse. I thought he had a good solid finish, but he won the damn race.
Right. Yeah. And then the fireball crash too, which was to say the least insane.
Brad just got pile drove by Kyle and Austin Cindric and Logano and then Bubba on that flame.
They came in and he pretty much knew it was over at that point.
I think they said Keselowski's fuel cell fell off. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and then it was out, and when that car hit it, that's what made the explosion.
Wow. Didn't Brad also say that he didn't know that Kyle Busch actually hit him at first?
Yeah, he was I think he said something along the lines of either he didn't know he got hit by Kyle Busch or he didn't know he got hit that hard.
I think it was that he hit that hard, yeah.
Yeah, because
he said that he wasn't feeling sore at all, so definitely good news.
Yeah, that's good for safety of NASCAR. You know, we've come a long way since 20 years ago.
And I believe everybody was released after Monday, so we didn't have any serious injuries. Yeah,
that's good, but we're gonna pose a question later about this package, because I think it's an interesting note to talk about with these plate races, how exciting they are, but then at the end it always just seems like a huge crash. I mean, we've had Newman last year almost die. Then we've had flips at Dega, and it's just huge crashes with this package. Don't get me wrong, this package is great, like with the racing. makes it exciting because we don't want the train like we had the last 150 laps or so.
Yeah.
But now we're going to, I guess, give it a rating. We're going to do ratings on races now. We didn't do it for the Clash. It's the Clash. So we're going to start with the 500. I'm going to rate it. We're going to do out of 100. I'm going to rate it about 45 out of 100. I think it was a little below average race. The rain delay really killed the mood. And then a huge wreck, I think, played a big part because it seemed like the cars could not stay in a pack with that less of cars. So it seems like with this package, there has to be a lot of cars running with it to get that pack racing that we're used to with this package. So it seems like with less cars, this package kind of falters. And it could also have been like that huge wreck on lap 15. Everyone just wanted to log laps. I think that was also part of it. But it just seems like this package just took a nosedive when all those cars went out early. But rain delay really killed it too. I mean, it buzzkill. Like, these races got to start earlier, I would think. Because they used to start at like 12 or 1. But now it's 3 p.m. in February in Florida, which is always causes for rain delay. It just seems like we've been getting delayed every 500 now recently. So hopefully we can start it earlier, but I know it's not up to NASCAR. It's mostly Fox trying to get those super ratings, but
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 45. That is my rating. 45 out of 100.
I was about the same scale. I was going to say 50, but if I look at this from a newcomer's point of view, I think that would kind of ruin the aspect of racing for me. Not necessarily like NASCAR itself, but like just sitting there, you know, you see the big one happen early, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, well, now I have to wait until 9 o'clock at night to watch the rest of the race. You
Right.
know? But if I'm thinking of it as, you know, just even a casual fan, I still agree with the 45. I do think that the most boring part was probably the freight training. Just, you know, all that whole line, you know, just going around and around. I don't know. I think there were some parts that maybe drivers could have done differently to make it more fun, but you know, you can't control drivers, you can't control crews, you can't control the weather, you can't control anything. So I'm just gonna stick it at the 45 and pretty much let it have its way at that.
Right, because I mean the race was just
It's
But-
definitely not what you expect for a 500 race.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be real. Denny Hamlin had the best car out there. I mean,
Yeah.
he's won stage 1, stage 2. He was out front. He executed pit road beautifully. Just the Toyotas could not get back together out of pit, while the Fords and Chevys did better. I think
And his only way to really get up to first place was having Kyle Busch move down with him and then pushing Kyle Busch up, but then that means, you know, he has to get past another person.
Right.
So,
And then Bubba was having a great race. And then
absolutely.
let's just giving a shout out to Bubba. Great race. Was going to be up front. Could contend for the win. But he had a loose wheel, I believe, in like lap 25 to go. So he finished 17th.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it just... let's be real. Denny had the best car. I mean,
100%.
I'm crazy for McDowell. Like, just hell of a nice guy McDowell is. He had some trouble with Bubba last year, which was a little iffy, but you know, he deserves it. He's been grinding, like he said, been running on small teams his whole life. I guess let him get a wacky 500 win. Hey, he was there at the end. He was there.
Yep.
With these super speedways, like I predicted, he's there. He finds a way there.
Yep.
I didn't
Called
think
him the Newman.
I didn't think he would win, but Hey, we're 1 for dark horse picks this year.
Yeah, there you go.
But good job, Michael. Good job. I want to give a shout out to NASCAR for actually getting this race in Sunday night.
Yeah.
Just kept on going at it. Good job, NASCAR. We'll give you a round of applause for that. But let's move on to our question. We have a question that I'm going to propose to Brian. So with all the last lap huge crashes that we've seen with the Super Speedway package, should NASCAR do something with the Super Speedway package with the next-gen cars? Because next-gen is coming next year. Daytona 500 2022. It's going to be next-gen cars. This is the last Gen 6 Daytona 500. What do they need to do with that package to not have the big crashes?
Honestly, there's no such thing as an even playing field. So we can kind of count that out. Because, you got to have money involved somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
As for the package and trying to keep these last lap crashes from happening, I don't know if that's necessarily under their control. I feel like there may be some slight changes with the car that they can help out with, but honestly, I think it's mainly the mentality of some of the drivers. They just push it a little too hard on the last lap, trying to go for that next position, and that's kind of where it happens. Because you have the drivers like Logano, who obviously would have wanted to win that race. It probably would have been preferred for him, but sometimes some things just happen. Maybe the only thing you can really say is have a better slip for some of the cars.
True. Well, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here. So, this package, the Super Speedway package, in my opinion, is probably the best Super Speedway package they've had. I think it rivals the early 2000s. I prefer this package a little bit better. But one thing with this package that just when they're all together, when they get a run, they get such a run you can't block it. The leader has no control.
Right.
Now I don't want to go back to where they had a bubble of air where basically the leader could just go up and down, up and down, up and down, and no one can pass him. I don't want that. I want this package to stay, but I don't know if there's anything they can do, or with just the next-gen car, to not make it have such a huge run. Because then you get such a huge run and you just blast in front of the dude. I mean, there's 2 big crashes that involve that. Like, McDowell had a huge run and essentially just shoved Keselowski under Logano, and then that's what caused the huge wreck on the last lap. And then on lap 14, Christopher Bell, huge run, rams into the 10. Boom, big crash. I think maybe if they lessen the runs a little bit, I'm not saying completely neuter it, but just tweak it maybe. Because
So basically what you're asking for here is less downforce, but not to the point where the car behind can't even catch up to the car in front. You just want it very slight, right?
I just don't. The closing rates of these cars with this package is insane.
So basically the slip is what you're saying, right?
Yes, I want them to have less slip, or whatever you want to call it, closing rate, whichever you feel. When you watch this, the cars, when they get a run, they catch up on that bumper real quick. So whatever you want to call that, whether you prefer slip or closing rate or whatever you want to prefer, that I want to be a little lessened. So then you actually have to, work a little bit for the run. I'm not saying they're not doing anything and they're like, oh, just 5 miles an hour faster. It just, these runs got to slow down a little bit, because I don't think we should slow down the cars. I think they're pretty good with the speeds they go out in the draft, 200 miles an hour. But the closing rate, there's got to be something they can do with this closing rate and not completely neuter the package, because this package the other 198 laps is great. It's honestly a really good package. They actually nailed a package for once. That's crazy. But I think these closing races are just... The driver can't do anything because, I mean, Logano, he blocks. We know he blocks. He's blocked every fucking thing in his life. But he basically has his hands tied behind his back on the last lap, and I don't really want that for the leader. Like, I want them to be able to do something. Like, maybe he could have blocked it, or would have blocked and got under him. Like, I want them to give the option, not either or of the side of the coin. Like, the leader has basically no control of the last lap. Whatever happens, happens. Or the leader's going to win because no one can get within 3 feet of him. So, I don't know what they can do. I'm not, an engineer or anything like that.
Right.
But there's something they can tweak, I believe, that they can slow these closing rates down, so maybe we don't get these huge wrecks. Because NASCAR has jumped leaps and bounds after 2001. Like the
safety.
Yeah, but I mean, with these huge wrecks, it's just something's gonna happen sometime. Like there's either.
Hey, you can definitely put a sheet out for NASCAR. You can give them something for that Newman bar, because funny enough, the Newman bar saved Newman's life, and
right.
I mean, it was probably one of the best safety precautions they could have taken.
Right. And I mean, speaking about Newman, with that interview with Rinaldi, he basically said in the interview, like they were talking about the crash, obviously, and something that struck me in that interview was that Newman said, if you looked at my helmet and my car, you wouldn't believe I was alive. I know he's not going to show anyone his helmet, but I really want to see that helmet, like where he got hit. Because
honestly, if you ever want to see a grown man cry, that interview kind of that got you close. It would get you to start tearing up. It just makes you think, first of all, how far NASCAR has come, and racing in general with all their safety precautions. And I mean, like, any of these drivers within an instant, it could all be over.
Right.
And I think honestly, I think NASCAR is taking the best precautions out of every single racing.
They are. They
team.
Absolutely are. Because motorsports is different. Motorsports, there's always going to be a sense of danger.
Right.
I mean, you can't hide it all unless you want them to ride in a bubble or a soapbox derby car. But
yeah. Which, I mean, we can go back to last year when there was a Formula 2 driver who passed away because another car came over him and hit him,
I mean, NASCARs are giant bricks, but those bricks are safe.
Very safe.
But I just think there's something they can do to tweak this package, like with the closing rates, because I don't want to see someone die. Like Newman last year took my breath away. I was watched him flipped in the air, and then you're so used to them popping out. Like that's the thing. They flip over the car, they pop out, they look pretty pissed, but they go to the ambulance, and then they put the little hat on, and they get out of the infield care center, and then either Jamie Little or fucking Vince Welch is like, so what happened out there? And then they're like, well, this guy fucking turned into me, and I want to thank Oscar Mayer for keeping me safe in that car, and blah, blah, blah. They usually do that. But not seeing him jump out, and scared me. I'm like, Jesus. Yeah. And then with
giving you chills when his crew chief came on the line, and he came on the radio, and he was starting to talk to him. He's like, you all right in there? Like,
right.
Everything okay?
And literally nothing. That's also what Newman's parent says. Newman's dad said he has a radio for every race, and he just listens to on the radio, and he said when he was calling out for him, like Newman always after the wreck, he's like, "Oh, I'm fine," and he said when he heard silence, like his heart dropped.
Yeah, I think just about everybody that watched that race, their heart dropped.
Oh, that was like me with the Keselowski hit, because I don't know why, but my eyes just went straight to Keselowski, like when he got wrecked, and I just saw Kyle like pile drove him. Like me and no, we weren't on Discord call then. I was gonna say me and Brian were on Discord call, but I think I texted you. I'm like, holy shit, look at that wreck.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember looking over, and then all of a sudden I see a big ball of fire. And I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then I watched it back, and all I see is I see the crash starting,
Mm-hmm.
and then I see Brad in the wall, and then I see 2 cars come up behind him and just bow. And then I was just like, oh, God, I hope everybody's okay. Like, there's really not much you can say.
Yeah, it was right in that door, and then it was just scary, but that was a 500, a little below average race. Good winner, good underdog winner. Totally flips the playoffs now. He takes a playoff spot from maybe a Bubba or De Benedetto or a Byron, someone of that nature. So,
it's definitely possible.
And he's a good road racer, so hey, he could get 2 in a row, maybe.
Yeah, he could. Hey, crazier things have happened.
I'm not going to choose him as a dark horse again, but he could be definitely a dark horse for this one. But after that,
I feel like everybody's round of 16 kind of got screwed up here.
It could, but definitely, I don't think anyone had McDowell in. But just anything else with that Ryan Newman interview that caught your eye?
Honestly, the only other thing that really, really caught my eye is when they started talking about him walking out with his daughters, and how that was his main focus.
That was a good moment.
Yeah, making sure that he was able to walk out with them, knowing he's okay, and getting to walk out literally with them side by side.
Right.
That had to be amazing.
I also liked kind of when Tom Rinaldi asked him, like, is there any fear? And Newman just said, no, I can't let there be fear. He obviously always, like, fears for his life because, what he does. And then they asked his parents the same question. And his parents just kind of said, well, if he goes out, he did what he loved doing. So
Right. And there's nothing better to say there, really.
Yeah, he's absolutely a racer at heart, man.
Yep. Even if he pulls a Newman and stays 15th the whole time, he's still doing what he loves, and he's doing it at a great rate.
Yep. Hoping for a good Ryan Newman year. That would be good for him.
Yeah.
But we're gonna move on to some NASCAR news that we got. So we found this on Twitter the other day. Kind of as a rumor. It was Alvin Kamara to sponsor Ryan Vargas in the Xfinity Series. They were kind of teasing it, like, ooh, we're gonna, like, with the little eyes and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So I just, kind of sent it to Brian. And then today it's been confirmed that Kamara is gonna sponsor Vargas' car. I think it's what is his thing's name? Like his restaurant's name?
The Big Squeezy.
The Big Squeezy. Okay, I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Big Squeezy, new sponsor. Love new sponsors. They're gonna be sponsoring the road course. I think it's just a one-off, but maybe it could be more if Kamara really likes it, because he seems really like into it.
Yeah, and what better of a series to just jump straight into than Xfinity? You can go straight to Cup,
right?
But some people don't really have either that kind of money, or that maybe all these teams that you would like to sponsor are already full. So he skips right over like trucks and the dirt series, and he just goes straight to Xfinity. I think that's pretty amazing.
Yep, that's cool. That is, it's absolutely cool to get a new sponsor in NASCAR.
Yeah. And it looks good for NASCAR too, because you're involving other sports.
Right.
I mean, NASCAR is only yet to grow.
Yep. But yeah, Camaro is a NASCAR sponsor. I didn't think I'd be saying that, but he seems really excited about it. So hopefully it all goes well. I hope a good run for old Ryan Vargas. He had a TikTok car last year, so it's kind of interesting what kind of new sponsors he's bringing in. But hopefully they have a good run, and then maybe Camaro could sponsor a couple more races or more teams or something he could build into it. But
it'll be interesting to see how many more just stars in general start to come on. I mean, we had Michael Jordan, we've had Pitbull, Alvin Kamara, and then some that have already been in, like Brad Daugherty. I mean,
yeah, it's just so NASCAR's always had a thing with sponsors or team ownership, and
right.
I guess we're in that wave again. But
yep. Which Michael Jordan was already here prior, correct? Because of the online series, the esports series.
Oh no, that was just Denny Hamlin.
Oh, okay, that was Denny. Okay.
Yep, that was just Denny. Yeah, but Denny and Michael Jordan's been friends for I think 10 years or something now.
Wow.
So yeah, they've just been talking racing and doing all that. But
that's amazing.
We have a little Reddit rumor that we found from the podcast Door Bumper Clear with TJ Majors and Freddie Kraft and Brett Griffin. They're all spotters in NASCAR. We found out that there might be a current Chevy team currently unhappy with Chevy and going to switch to Toyota. And then 2311 is going to expand to 2 cars by next year. So we're going to kind of, predict what we think is going to happen if this rumor becomes true. I know 2311 definitely wants to expand. Like, they have that in the plan, so we can kind of guess maybe who the driver is going to be. And then the Chevy team, we can guess which Chevy team, which I have a couple in mind. So we can kind of guess through that, if you want to guess, Brian.
Honestly, it would be interesting to see who 2311 picks up. That I don't know if they would go with Ty Dillon. Honestly, I mean they could.
I mean
he didn't do too bad in the Clash.
He is in the Toyota camp technically with being on Joe Gibbs' team now, like in Xfinity.
I think they might also extend as far as picking up one of this year's rookies who are only running part-time. Which one, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure which one it would be. It could be anybody, They could even go out here and pick up somebody from a current Toyota team that may not be happy.
Right.
And the team, I don't know which team would be switching over to Toyota.
I think there's 2 big ones in mind that I would have.
Okay.
I think so. With 2311 news, I think they can go in a number of different ways. They can get John Hunter Nemechek, who has Cup experience, now running trucks for KBM, so he's in Toyota family. They could do Ty Dillon, who's in the Toyota family. Harrison Burton, who runs Joe Gibbs' Xfinity. They could get Brandon Jones from Joe Gibbs' Xfinity. They have a number of options for Toyota, like in the Toyota camp. They could go totally someone outside too. You never know. They could get maybe DiBenedetto because his contract's up at the end of the year and he's had Toyota ties before. So.
Or they could take a complete loop and go for somebody that's driving a Ford right now.
They could.
But it would be very interesting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, 2311 runs really good this year, It's going to be a hot commodity anyway. It's essentially a Joe Gibbs seat, so.
Yeah.
But And then
To be honest, on the Chevy thing, my first guess would it might not be Penske, right?
Penske's not Chevy.
It's not Chevy?
No, Penske's not Chevy. They're Ford.
Oh, they're Ford. Okay. Never mind then. I take that back. Again, I'm still new to this, so.
Yeah, Penske's Ford. Brad and Joey and Ryan, they're all Ford.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Ford Mustangs.
So that's what Chevy would be like Hendrick, right?
So the Chevy teams are Hendrick, RCR,
JB.
Ganassi, JTG, Spire,
JTG, right.
and then Richard Petty.
Isn't there a part-time team too?
Rick Ware, but they're trash.
Okay.
So we don't count them as a team. They're things. Oh, and Starcom Racing.
Okay.
That's with Quinn Health, my trash off the lawn. I don't know.
So I'm kind of interested in seeing who you think would switch.
I think I have two main ones. So Rick Ware, no one cares. Starcom, really, does anyone really care? Not that much.
Not.
And I don't think they would switch over.
0-0 car, man.
Then obviously Hendrick's gonna. No, I'm kidding. Hendrick, no.
I think they have pretty good cars.
Decent. Not bad. Totally not bad.
Totally.
RCR would never switch. Ganassi, I don't see switching. So that leaves two. Well, three. I would count Spire in, but they just switched to Hendrick support. Like, they finally got Hendrick support this year. So I don't think they would take that off the first year and go to Toyota. So that leaves two. So interesting angle. So JTG, two cars currently. Well, one full-time and then one 80% of the time. They could go to Toyota because they used to be a Toyota team. Fun fact. They were a Toyota team in 2008 or 9, 2013. So they were a Toyota team for about 5 years before they made the move to Chevy.
Okay.
So I could see them going back to Toyota because they're kind of last on the pecking order of Chevys. I mean, it goes Hendrick and then RCR and Ganassi about the same. And then it's JTG, the fourth Chevy team. When they could be the third Toyota team. And the sixth or seventh car in Toyota's fleet. Really?
Okay.
So they could be a solid B. They could either be a C Chevy team or essentially a B pretty solid Toyota team. So I think that makes sense for them. And then another one I could see is Richard Petty. So you're going to say, Richard Petty to a Yoder, Jim cheating Yoders, Richard Petty would never, is what all the boomers are saying right now. But, I mean,
With minimal funding, though, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, they get RCR equipment, so
Yeah.
I don't. Oh well, the other Chevy team is Trackhouse, but they literally just came in, so I don't think they're doing manufacturer switch that fast.
Yeah.
So I think Richard Petty, who Joe Gibbs did not want to let go of Eric Jones. The only reason Eric Jones got let go was because Levine Family Racing shut down because of Corona and stuff, because of their business. So Joe Gibbs did not want to get rid of Eric Jones. But he had a choice between Christopher Bell and Eric Jones. And Christopher Bell was already signed, so it would be harder for him to get rid of him. So I could see Eric Jones going back into the Toyota fold. And then Richard Petty, maybe getting some extra money to go to Toyota to kind of pour on money. I mean, they're running basically on sponsor list this weekend. So,
Christopher Bell didn't have too terrible of a year last year anyway.
no, he had a decent year, but he was already
He's a rookie. What really could you ask for? You know.
right. And then Eric Jones didn't make the playoffs, so kind of, easier decision, I would say.
Right.
But
So you think the 37 and 47 are likely to be the ones that make the switch?
if I had to bet, it would probably be JTG. I could see.
Okay.
Richard Petty, I see as an outside shot, but he can McDowell his way in. So I guess we'll see with that rumor if it comes in fruition or not.
Okay.
But we're gonna move on from that discussion and then to our picks from the 500. So in the 500, I picked Ryan Blaney to actually win. I did not pick McDowell. So I kind of got the wrong side of the coin there. And then Brian picked
the crazy pick.
Kyle Busch. He was up there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, until the last lap antics.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah.
So right
Hey,
now,
you know what? It wasn't too bad of a pick, but then again, it's kind of hard to say. Oh well, I mean that would be his first ever super speedway. So
right. So I'll show a little the picks right now. Maybe size it up a little bit. So right now, Blaney only scored 7 points, and Kyle Busch scored 25. So Brian beat me this week. So with the upcoming race, Brian's gonna pick first.
ooh, okay.
But we're gonna preview Daytona Road Course first. We're back on the road, baby.
After about a week.
Yeah, after 1 week, we're still in Daytona. I wish it would rain this week. That'd be awesome. But we got.
Yeah, I think this week would have been better. Just held off the rain for a week.
But we got Chase Elliott on pole. Fun.
Yep.
But I think the road course would be about the same as the Clash, just with more cars. I think it's gonna be a good race. Good race in between, some strategy calls. How I wish Chase would honestly fail inspection, so then he could start in the back and just kind of work his way up, which would be so awesome. Just to see him out break and stuff. But Chase starting on pole, so I don't think there'll be a lot of lead changes. I would say maybe some during pit stops, but on green flag maybe, I don't know. But anything can happen. But I think there's gonna be
seeing how the Busch Clash went, even though that was pre start of the year, and I mean it was only 21 cars running, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think I see more crashes happening this week.
Oh, it could happen.
I mean, I don't think people are really ready yet for a road course.
Right.
Just still figuring out their cars this year, and other than the people that are just they've been here for a while, they know what they're doing.
Right.
But no, I honestly think that Daytona Road Course is going to be a fun one to watch.
Oh, it should be fun. It should be more action. I'm gonna look at those mid-pack battles.
Yeah.
And see, what kind of action goes on there. As you can see on screen, I'm putting on our picks because, basically, let's not play around. It's gonna be Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott is probably the safest. It's It's more safer than the bet than Hamlin was at Daytona.
Yeah. Yep.
Chase is just gonna dominate these. He's not gonna win every one. Okay, he's not gonna win. He's not gonna go for 7. If he is, that'd be incredible, and we'll definitely cover it on the podcast.
Oh,
but
for sure.
I think Daytona Road Course, Chase got it in the bag.
And as we saw from this week's race, anything can happen. There could be one little crash or one big crash that just throws everything in the sky,
Right. I think also, people who are going to be fast, I think. I know Bowman's starting in the back, but he's really good at road courses. I think Bowman's going to be up towards that top 10. Hamlin was fast at the road course. Hamlin's going to be pretty quick. Truex is always good. Road course racer. Again, McDowell. He should be up there. He's a good road course racer. I think another one is going to be, this is not my dark horse pick, but I think William Byron should be up there too. He's a pretty solid road racer.
He's a solid driver overall too.
Yeah. I think those are going to be the guys that are going to be up front. Bowman is going to take obviously longer because he has to go all the way. Probably Blaney too. Blaney was pretty fast in the Clash, so I guess we'll see how that all turns out. But I mean, our picks for the road course is Chase Elliott.
Yeah,
that's easy bet.
I called it boring, but who else are you gonna pick?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to make a case for maybe Hamlin or Truex. Watch them win.
Yeah, I truthfully tried to get Truex as my pick because I liked him for the Busch Clash, but yeah, But then we saw how he did in the Clash too.
Well, he choked, so
he did. Somebody who you don't expect to see in the front is Kevin Harvick. I'm not.
No,
that is not my dark horse.
No,
that is definitely not my dark horse.
Kevin Harvick will be 25th.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna do dark horse now. Now my real dark horse, I kind of, we did ones to look out for, so this is my real dark horse one. Look out for that old 99 car, Suarez.
Ooh, Suarez.
Pretty decent road racer. Trackhouse has that RCR equipment. RCR equipment was pretty fast here. I say, look for, I'm not going to say top 10. Maybe, around top 10. I say 12 to 15. A nice solid run for Trackhouse. I'm going to say Suarez is my dark horse, maybe be up there, get some strategy, take no tires or two or something, get a little crazy. I think he'll be in the top 5, and then I could see him finishing between 12th and 15th. But it's going to be a good run for Trackhouse. They need it. They got crashed out early. So, Trackhouse, top 15.
I don't know how crazy this pick's going to be. I'm just going to be honest with you. I kind of like the starting grid position of this specific driver. I'm kind of glad to see how this goes. I picked Ryan Preece.
I was also thinking about them. I was thinking about him too, because last year when he had track position, he actually was up towards the front last year too.
Yeah.
So this year he's got track position. He's gonna have to race to get points because he's not running the full year. He doesn't have a charter. So
yeah,
that was a good pick. I was thinking about picking him too. Another one I was really thinking of, another one to look out for, would be, I would say Eric Jones, because Eric Jones was pretty fast here last year. Not bad road racer. Bubba was actually up here in the 43 last year, but got Logano'd. So he finished like 25th or something, but I was watching him. He was around where Bowman was. I think Bowman was top 10 or something. So I could see Eric Jones. He also had a solid Clash. So I could see Eric Jones, but Suarez is going to be my dark horse pick. I think he's going to be flirting with that top 10. Top 10 would be amazing for Trackhouse. Brand new team. For top 10, that'd be great. But I think 12 to 15, Suarez is going to have a decent run. But the Chase Elliott, man, is something else on these road courses.
Right. And I think that JTG will be happy with having Ryan Preece up there.
For sure. Well, I think that wraps everything up we want to talk about, unless you want to include anything more. Want to speak on it?
There was one thing that I saw when I was looking for the Alvin Kamara tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Petty actually tweeted something out.
What's up?
And it's at the bottom of our doc here. It is a blurred picture of a potential scheme that they're gonna run.
Ooh, wait, let me see. Ooh, wow. Oh, I already know what that is. That's U.S. Air Force.
Yeah.
That's what is it a tribute to? It's something with a T. I can't think of the name. What is it? It's probably in the comments or something in there. It's
Probably, yeah.
It's a tribute to something with the T, like the Warriors or whatever.
Tuskegee, right?
Tuskegee, that's it. Yeah, I knew it was something like that, but yeah, it's gonna be a tribute to that, but looks nice, looks clean. I mean, we haven't seen the full thing, so that's why we're not showing it. It's just a blurred photo.
Right.
But new scheme for the U.S. Air Force.
Yeah.
Should look clean. But I think that wraps it up for this episode. Another episode of Racing Bros NASCAR Podcast. I've been your host, Zach Workman, with my co-host, Brian Velez. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Thanks for stopping by.